Hello YouTube, Jared back again with another Tau update. I finally have a few models painted. So I have my first kind of test models painted, and I think I've finally almost finished my paint scheme. So I want to show off what I've painted so far and then walk you through how I'm planning on painting it. I find this video very helpful. I had to go back and paint a Carriage and Overlord, so I went back and watched my video on how I was planning to paint the Carriage and Overlord, and it was so nice to have a video log of how I painted that figure. So making another one for the Tau. This is a walkthrough of who I have, and then most importantly, how I'm planning on painting it. So one of the things I'm doing here, you can see, is I have my broadside painted. This gives me kind of a bigger model. And then I have my first of 7 squads. And so these guys have also gotten the paint job. I haven't based them yet. I'm going to do a whole project on basing, but I want to wait till I have a few more models painted before I do that. But overall, I do like how they came out. I'm still fiddling with it, and I may change my mind on something, go back and repaint something, but overall, this is kind of where I'm leaning right now. I do like having the squad commander in the white helmet. That gives him a very distinctive look, makes it really easy to spot him. And then each squad is going to have a different marking on the shoulder pad. And so I'm glad now that I went back and rotated a few of the wrong shoulder pads, because I want everybody's shoulder pads to be correct, because I want to not just run a little bit of white paint with some water in it to get the Tau symbol back, but this symbol, this kind of white highlight is going to be different on each one. So each guy is going to have a different one. One will be a stripe, one will be highlighted at the top instead of the bottom. That will help me tell the squads apart. And so the goal is to give every single squad a different squad marking, and then you'll be able to quickly, at a glance, tell who belongs to who. That way, if they all run in together, they'll be able to differentiate who's on which squad. I've been doing the Aethermatic blue for all of the plasma effects, so the grenades. This guy's got a little grenade. Anybody's got these little, like, power pack things. I might go back and change it if it's too glowy. I don't know. From a distance, it looks cool, but up close, it's like, why is the whole thing glowing? Haven't made up my mind on that yet, but I do like it. It's okay. But the main color scheme, though, let me go ahead and find it here. I'm starting out with Jokero orange. Jokero orange. This is the base coat, and then layering up to Tau light ochre. And this is, I think, actually one of the official paint schemes here. And the thing I like about this is something to know about Citadel paints. This is a base paint. This is a layer paint. This one's going to get you better coverage. This one's going to be better for highlights. And so that's exactly what I did. Everybody got a pretty heavy paint of Jokero, then came back with the Tau ochre. And then for fancy decorations on the bigger guy, squig orange for that. For I'm trying to go no metallics. All my armies have so much metallics. For this army, my challenge to myself is paint a whole army with no metallics. And so for the little glowy bit, I'm doing a base of Averland Sunset, layering up, using the layer to Uriel Yellow. And so that is the color that goes on this. Instead of doing a traditional gold, that's being layered up here and then on their little gun. So I'm trying to layer up with that. And then if it needs a little bit of help, Imperial Contrast is on my desk right now because I'm getting ready to paint Imperial Fists. So that's ready to go. Other color I have laying around here is Lotharian Blue. I'm going to be painting the Lumineth Realm Lord soon, and so I already had this one ready to go. So this is their feet color, and then I've been hitting it with a little bit of Nuln Oil. Haven't decided if I love it or not. I have this really pretty Heather Blue from Reaper. I haven't touched Reaper paints in forever. I started on Reaper paints. They're fairly runny, and they're good paints, but I feel like they need a lot of coverage. They don't get streaky on you, but the coverage isn't amazing, so I don't use a lot of Reaper paints. I do love that they're Texas-based. I've actually been to their headquarters. They're cool people, but I'm just not a big fan of the Reaper paints. I feel like they're cool, and they've got some good shades, and I love the colors, but they're not my favorite paints to use because they do require multiple layers always. It's very hard to get one coat with them, whereas some of the Citadel, not all, some of the Citadel you can get away with one coat. And then army paint, our stuff tends to be really good with one coat. And then, of course, contrast is one coat. So when you're painting large armies, anything you can do that's one coat and done is amazing. But right now the scheme is Lotharian on the feet, Then we're coming in with our Abaddon Black for the feet, and the under armor is all in the black. And then Jokero Orange, Tau Light Ochre. The other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to go more Jokero Orange on like the gappy spots and the backpacks just to give them a little bit of color variation. And then I tried out this for about 10 seconds. This doesn't have an applicator. Cannot recommend. It was an absolute pain to use. It stinks. Maybe someday I'll come back and give it another try, but I absolutely hated it. It just felt like a worse wash. And so my old workhorse is back. Reikland Flesh Shade. Love Reikland Flesh Shade. This is my go-to. So this has been going on, everybody. It fills in the gaps. It makes the weapon details pop right back out. The armor details pop right back out. It shades it into that beautiful kind of orangey color that's not so flat. Absolutely love Reikland Flesh Shade. This is my absolute workhorse. That, Nuln Oil, and then there's like 3 or 4 other paints that are just my go-tos. Other thing I got, Mephiston Red. This is going to be for flamethrowers and the missile tips. And then Wild Rider Red. This is all the little glowy effects on, it's the scopes and the eye glow. So the little glow in there is the Mephiston Red, or the Wild Rider Red. And then the Mephiston Red is over here. The other thing I'm trying to bring back, and I haven't done it in a while, my white, by the way, is Pro Acryl Bold Titanium White. This is the best white. Nothing else can touch it. I have a little tiny bottle of White Scar nearby in case I need to do a drop of white, but this stuff's just so much better. So one of the things I'm trying to get back into doing when it comes to dry brushing, I do a heavy dry brush like this to prep the mini. So black primer, heavy white dry brush to get it to about this state. That way I can see the details while I'm painting easier, and then it makes the colors not look as dark except for in the recesses. So that gets me started. This is the slap chop method, I'm sure, whatever other YouTubers want to call it. I like it, fair enough. But if you do a light dry brush, you get 95% of the paint out. So there's just the tiniest touch of paint. You can test it on your hand. You can go in and it creates this effect right here where it's just, see how that's black with a white dry brush? And I like that look. That's going to be the look I'm going to be going for, where it pops the details out. My Karazai, the Scarred, it's what I did on his armor plates. You just pop the black details back out where it's clearly black, but you can see all the details on it. So that I've been a big fan of. And then I did a little bit on the red right here, and that just makes it look a little more like painted metal, where it's got that little bit of a light shine on it. See how that, you can see it right there on the details? I love that detail. Then everything doesn't look flat and cartoon paneled. So big fan of that. I'm going to definitely keep doing that. It's a technique that takes patience, so it's good for me to practice because I need to practice my patience. And then we've got Nuln Oil is a big fan. So washes here, trying to do more Reikland than Nuln Oil, and then all my yellows and such. I also have Baller Brown. This is going on, whoops, watch where you're swinging that thing. This is going on all the little handle bits. So that'll come into play just to give me some variety. I think that's about everything, actually, for this paint scheme. One of the things that I want to do, though, is once I get to my bigger ships, I don't want to paint flat panels on this. I'll probably do it on one of them. One of them I'm going to paint straight, just flat panels and follow the lines, you know, color in the numbers. The other ones I want to do, and I especially want to do this with my stealth suits, is I want to paint camouflage. I've seen so many cool camouflages. And so because I have this lovely core, where is everybody? And then the other one I have, I don't see it now. Somewhere around here I have the flesh tone. I find it fits into this scheme. There you are. It was hiding. This guy. Kislev Flesh. So I want you to look at this. See that palette right there? That is desert camo right there. So this is going to be mixed into a camo. And so I'll paint blotches or stripes or streaks or whatever I want to do. So this is going to be the camo test that I do next. But for future self, remember this, Jared. These are the colors you're going to use for the camo. This is some highlights. This is all highlights, washes, white. And then I've kept this palette really simple. This is it, basically, plus this. And then if I change my mind later, this might go back in and highlight up some of the feet. But I'm trying not to use too many paints on this guy because, again, I got 96 Tau models to paint. If my paint scheme is 2 or 3 hours per model, I am never going to finish, much less the other armies I want to paint. So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm painting with. And overall, I'm really happy with this squad. I will say, I'm watching Band of Brothers right now. It's finally on a streaming service that I have access to. And watching Band of Brothers and seeing the squads all fighting and moving together while painting a little squad has been really, really fun to kind of think about while I'm painting. And, you know, making sure all the squads can kind of tell each other apart and know who's on whose team and how they're working together. That's been a really fun show. So far, that has been every bit as good as everybody's always told me it was, and I've been meaning to watch it for years. So I was overdue to watch that. And then, I got a little bit more Wild Rider Red up here for the flamethrowers. So big guy's got his flamethrowers. Super happy to have a big guy painted already. Super happy to have a squad painted. Next thing up is probably going to be the Devilfish, and then I want to paint all 9 stealth suits and their little caps. So I want to get that knocked out. That'll take a big chunk off my desk and look really cool. And then it's on to painting more infantry squads. I've got a bunch more of these. There's 5 of them total, so 4 of them left, plus Breachers, plus Pathfinders. So that'll be a lot of fun. My camera is trying to adjust to my hands. This is a new camera, so I'm still getting used to it. But overall, that's kind of where I am. Thanks for following along with this Tau project. It's going to keep going. I may have some other projects running concurrent, but there will be more Tau update videos. So thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me when you do. And like and all the other presentries. And I'll see you in the next update video. Bye.